Hello and welcome to Breakfast Central here. It's TGIF, it's Friday, and we are about to walk into the big stories like we've never done before, bringing to you the latest gist. Plus, it's been a roller coaster of political news from one border to the other, especially in Nigeria. Don't worry, my co-anchors are looking at me this morning wondering what I did over the night. But I can tell you it was indeed splendid because fitness, I started and we're ready for, I'm going to miss you guys, by the way, after today's show Friday,
Why?
I don't want to go. I wish we could do Saturday and Sunday,
Oh, yeah. I feel that way too sometimes. But you can come back tomorrow,
I am not going to miss you. I want to go.
Oh, my goodness. You're welcome to Breakfast Central, guys. My name is Benga Borough. This is the best place to start your day. And if you're tuned in to News Central TV, you know that you've started your day right. Let me pass on the mic to my
I received the mic.
Anchoress. I pass it on to you, Paripasu.
What did they speak?
I want to use legal terms.
Legal terms.
Sometimes I feel bad. What did you study? Mass com. I was watching a movie, a Yoruba movie back in those days. So our mobiles came to the house and they started beating everybody. They said, what did you study? Then my elder brother was there. He studied physical and kinetic education in University of Ibadan. In the movie, somebody studied physical and kinetic education. The armor was advising him that, hey, see better custom. I said sorry. I really felt sorry for my big bro that time, but my big bro is doing well now, so we thank God.
That's life. He took the lemonade.
Imagine I have more about advising you.
Inside film, it's not even in real life.
So that's why sometimes, MassCom, people look at MassCom as ordinary, just going there. And in Nigeria, MassCom graduates are mostly females. So they look at it, and sometimes I get jealous that you studied law. You get to use Latin magazines and legal terms like pari passu. So once in a while, allow me to be using them.
Don't worry, I'll be teaching you legal magazines once in a while.
Is ordinary citizen like me.
I will teach you as well. You layman.
It's okay. It's all right.
Speaking about legal terms, today is a very important day, and I'm very excited to be starting this day because a very prominent legal luminary turns 40 today. I'm talking about Darlington Ofekeze, who happens to be one of my best friends in this world. So I'm starting this show with so much excitement and wishing my friend a happy 40th birthday. Barrister Darlington Ofekeze. We lawyers, there's a certain, I don't want to call it arrogance or pride. People think it's arrogance or pride, but we know who we are. We work with the knowledge of who we are. And when you now try to, I understand your feelings of low self-esteem because
you're saying it's on a MassCom set. On the media set. Are you in the law court? If you're in the court, then you can brag. You can washing me on our.
Sorry.
Yes,
it's play. I'm Olive Emodi, and you're welcome to Breakfast Central. This is Wake Up Conversations. The way that we kickstart the show, we start on a very light mood, and we look for some of the stories that have been trending in the past 24 hours. Thank you so much, Benny, for that coffee you are bringing. We look for I don't know, please bring it. And let's not get into the stories today as we count down to the 2027 election. Okay, great. Thank you, Benny. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Let the coffee go round.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Great job, Benny. Great job. All right. This is how I'm standing on existing protocols right now. I'm fired up.
Yes. Very excited.
Let's talk about the
APC.
Yes, the summit. That's where we start from. Wonderful summit yesterday. I think the funniest part for me in that summit is the part where the Senate President said that when they were going into the summit, that a Labour Party senator was begging him, please, can I follow you into this summit, please? Let me just attend. I beg you. I don't know, the way he said it, I couldn't help but laugh.
I hope we have that.
It's somewhere. We just have to ensure that we, yes,
it would be nice.
And then he said, at some point, he said the senator waited because, everybody was like, who are you? So rumors were going around social media that could it be Senator, allegedly
How many Labour parties?
You know, IK, you should know who that is, the initials. Could it be
a female senator?
a female senator?
There's only one female senator.
Who was waiting closely to say, please,
I would think it's the other.
That's what they said.
I would think
we
it's
don't know, you know, and it was a good one in terms of, you know, it brought about conversations online that I saw, and I couldn't help but laugh my heart out. But the summit was a talk of town. The president also made a very strong comment that got Nigerians talking as well. He talked about the one-party state, how it's good for democracy. He also talked about the EFCC, how they were able to seize, you know, the number of houses, and he said, one man. Okay, if you understand the rift between the current president and the embattled CBN governor, former CBN governor, thanks for adding the former, you'll understand why the president had said that, one man. I don't know if I'm to explain it on the show, but I'm sure our viewers will understand it, because
you can read between the lines,
you can read between the lines, because if you go back to 2023 during the elections, you remember what had happened when the president was campaigning, and the Naira swap, the policies that kept changing, some assaulting policies, you know,
roadblocks,
exactly,
roadblocks,
and that's why he said.
But you see people that have seen that one, and it's him that said that the reason for the Naira redesign, according to the explanation that was given, was because they said they needed to get the monies back into the commercial vault of the bank. You know, and what he had
mop up excess Naira in circulation.
Yes, and it had been a long time since we had redesigned our Naira. But yeah,
was it really a redesigning? And do you know the amount of business people lost?
Oh,
people died as a result of that.
And you know the funny thing is, when that happened,
people were queuing in front
I
of
remember
banks.
bringing up conversations with some financial experts, asking them, have we learned what we learned in the 1980s when this was done in President Buhari's time? And it was a flop, and people were, the reports of how it happened at that time, people sitting outside the banks unable to get access to cash, and we're asking, have we learned our lesson? But they said they had learned their lesson.
And it was a recoloration of the Naira. It wasn't, they didn't redesign anything.
You know,
do you know, I still like the older currency.
And we're still using it concurrently.
This is this is one of the countries in the world where we're using two different types of money. Two different types of, you have
two different currencies.
Like
types of the same
values,
but different. 1,000 Naira notes, new 1,000.
I don't get it, and it's been on since the president, you know, got into power in 2023. Up until now, there has been no move to change or stop it.
The problem now
it would disrupt
the economy. Part of why they're doing it, why they did it at that time, was because they're trying to inch closer to the moving and making Nigeria into a cashless economy.
Are you sure?
Are we really ready to be a cashless economy, right? Your internet is not working. You want to do cashless economy, but people don't even have data. The ones that they have, they are jumping from one data to the other data. The data is behaving like CBEX. You know, so the internet is behaving like CBEX. We don't have stable internet connection. People don't have access to constant electricity. How do you really want them to move about cashless? In the UK, for example, it's great. All you just need to do is tap and pay. Just put your phone, you tap, and you're good to go.
Contactless.
It's contactless.
Olive.
But you have to put in cultural perspective into this. People might not be ready to adopt contactless, because people will now do devices that if I near you, all your money will enter.
There'll be fights everywhere. Let me say it like they say it in Lagos. So there'll be fights everywhere.
We can
I think
there are also smart fridges in other climes that if your egg supply is reducing, or your milk, or you run out of milk, they will make an automatic order for you. I'm serious. I am serious.
Look, tone it down. You are off your mind.
No,
I know I joke a lot.
No, I'm not saying he's joking. I'm not saying he's lying. I'm saying you are in Nigeria. Calm down.
I see. Because this
is where you are, Benga.
We will get there. We're just not yet.
We'll get there.
We will.
So you want your fridge to be ordering for you?
Does the fridge know if I'm trying to stay away from it? The fridge know.
Then you would use AI to know that your egg is running down.
Does it know if I'm trying to change my dietary supplement, my diet?
You input it.
Well, back to the APC convention.
APC, please.
Summit, I beg your pardon. It was mentioned there that President Tinubu has been declared as the sole, candidate for the elections come 2027. Yes. it was said that the sole candidate for 2027. But let's take a listen. Let's watch the videos and let's see what happened.
I rise to second the motion as ably moved by the chairman of Progressive Governors Forum, the governor of Imo State, His Excellency Hope Ozodinma, that this August gathering pass a vote of confidence on our able and amiable President, President Tinubu, as a sole candidate of APC come 2027 general election. I so second.
Today is a great day. Evaluating the scorecard and reviewing how far we moved within 2 years of this mandate. It is a great joy for me to listen to the team, listen to the party. I just need to tell those ones, saying one party system is no good. It's one party ruling and driving the aspiration of Nigerians. Where do they start? You don't blame a people bailing out of a sinking ship when they have no life jacket.
The political sagacity of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in view of the fact that despite very difficult times, he has been able to set Nigeria on a path of growth, confirmed by the International Monetary Fund. In view of the fact that Nigerians are grassroots people are very excited, in view of the fact that even the members of the National Assembly and senators said they have never had it this good, the leadership of the House of Reps should join me. I want all the members of the National Assembly of the APC extraction to stand up wherever they are. I want the civil senator to stand up where they are. And you will echo what I'm going to say. Those who love you will also join. I want to move, and let it be moved, that not only will President Bola Ahmed Tinubu be a sole candidate for the presidency in 2027, but he will also be a sole candidate for the whole Nigerian population, because all other political parties have been torn into shreds. I went to my state and I saw the umbrella at the PDP. It has over 100 rows. And so very soon you will hear. I'm not the one to break the news, but I know the national chairman has already broken the news that everything in the South has collapsed for you. And that is the same thing that is happening in the nation.
Okay, there's politicking and there's exaggeration. So I'm sure Nigerians would pick out what they can deduce from the speech from the Senate President and the principal members of the National Assembly. I mean, they're members of his party, so they're expected to, praise him and tell him he's done well and also endorse him. But Senator Akpabio is a member of the APC. He's allowed to speak for the APC.
This is politics, exactly.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's an APC
ahead to
summit.
say that, in fact, you might be the sole candidate for the entire country.
He said you will. He's
yes, because the other political parties.
The umbrella has plenty holes.
He went to Akpabio and there were over 100 holes in their umbrella. And these things are happening. I mean, the governor of Akpabio, I believe.
Yes, don't worry.
Given the marching order. He has not marched yet. So let the foot soldiers move. Pave way. Then he will move. We saw this coming. But,
no, it's not surprising me. Definitely. I mean, at the end of the day, when all the APC people can say it's an APC summit, I don't think that anybody expected.
But I don't know who that Labour Party senator.
Will come there to come.
Why was he peeping from outside? He wanted to enter.
Investigative journalism.
No, they say he was begging to join.
Senator Akpabio said one Labour Party.
I like this is the part of politics. Sorry to put. This is the part of politics that gets me. You know, it's so funny. I mean, just like you watch the U.S. Presidential election debates and online going towards the elections itself. I know Trump was a bit too overboard. His jabs were too hard and so on. So you always expect politicians to, you know, talk this way. But then again, that's just what I wanted to say. It's part of politicking, so it's not surprising when you hear politicians talk about how somebody followed them and was begging, please, let me just end. Let me just follow you.
Let me see what's happening in that kingdom.
Let me join you people, please. You know?
But you know, we went from the APC summit. Again, like I was saying earlier, it's an APC convention. You don't expect that they'll come there and praise the People's Democratic Party or the Labour Party. It's their party. And in politics, one of the major tactics that is used is just like in wrestling. You make a lot of mouths to intimidate your opponent and make your opponent feel like you totally defeated them. Even you don't know how the game is going to turn. It's a mental thing. You come, people come so close. You put your heads together. You tell them, "We wrestling. You will defeat them." They say the vilest things before the fight. Sometimes the people that talk the most are
the ones that receive.
So it's politics. I'm not surprised about that. However,
the use of language. Stop qualifying all Nigerians.
No, they have a right. It's politics. They have a right to say whatever they want to say. So Nigerians will now be the ones to say what they want to say. Nigerians, the good thing is we're in a democracy that so far that allows you to be able to say what you want to say to a certain extent, be able to speak the truth
at the ballot box.
Exactly. The 29th of May is another opportunity to access the 2 years of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We'll be doing that here on the show, but I'm sure that Nigerians have already started to do that, regardless of what the APC says. It is the reality of the Nigerians that will determine. I can't set an exam, write the exam, and mark the scores for myself. They're different people. There's the invigilator, and they're the students for a reason. In this case, government officials, we have employed the government officials. We have employed President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to serve the citizens of Nigeria. And the report sheet will soon be marked, and the Nigerian citizens will be the ones to mark the report sheet. But congratulations on the APC, to the APC on the successful summit. And I'm sure that in the coming weeks, there'll be more defections to the APC. Oh,
yeah, the president said so. He said many will come. And then he said, like what he said, there's freedom. When people were talking about one party, he said there's freedom of speech. In other words, there's freedom for you to associate and so on. And then someone on social media said, oh, really? The president understands that there's freedom? Oh, wow. So what happened to those who decide to gather in a place and protest and say, oh, they also have the freedom to equally associate to do what they have to do? But whichever way, it was good to behold and see the APC summit. Most importantly, as journalists, I mean, we just watch. We don't judge, we listen, we don't judge, and we're also able to pick, you know, the pointers, and the pointers we've mentioned this morning. If you just tuned in, well, you've missed out on some of the pointers, but keep watching because we do have a report or reports from our correspondents who covered the entire APC summit, and hopefully we'll share that with you in due course. Another big story, Senator Natasha,
has been taken to court by the federal government, and they have given reasons why they've taken her to court. Talk about how basically it links back to the sexual allegations that she's made on national television, and saying that she made those statements knowing the potential damage that it will cause on the persons whose names were mentioned in the report. Of course, recall that Senator Natasha Akpabio went on national TV alleging that the Senate President, making allegations of sexual assault from the Senate President, and even sort of alleging that the reason why her seat was being changed or her voice was being silenced was because of sexual advances made to her and how she's rejected the sexual advances. And this really caused mixed reactions. So today, if you go on social media, there are people who will still be there tearing her apart, and there are those who are there speaking up for her. Very recently, a certain Sarah Duru was brought into the conversation as well because of the statements she made on the 1st of May in the live stream, where she made a lot of strong allegations. She's speaking up against manipulation of, weaponization of sexual harassment, and she made a lot of allegations against Senator Natasha Akpabio, and Senator Natasha has come out to discount these allegations. However, there's another mix to the story. So a certain Obinna alleged that, you know, the lady, the Esther Duru, in a way influenced, Sarah Duru rather, influenced or invited him to influence the audio recordings, and now there are reports that Obinna has been picked up. But this is a conversation that we'll delve into much later this morning. It just keeps getting longer and longer. I don't know when we're going to see the end of it, or we're going to see a logical end to the story. But there have been calls on social media, we've seen hashtags free Obinna. We'll delve more into the story later when we look at the meat of what the issue is, what the next steps are, and how this might impact the political career of Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. The one thing that you would not be able to argue with is that the woman is a fearless fighter. She's been able to stand regardless of all the stones that have been thrown at her. But persons like Larry Olayinka, who's the spokesperson for the Minister of the FCT, has come out, he's put out a tweet saying that he's very happy that the federal government has taken her to court, as this will afford her the opportunity to present the evidence that she says she has against the Senate President. And he said that he doesn't want to hear that something has happened to the evidence, or that the evidence has gotten missing. And if you look at that tweet as well, you see some other reactions.
It would be nice for him to face his primary assignments.
Well, at the end of the day, he's still a Nigerian, and he'll be able to make comments on any of these stories. But I see where you're coming from completely.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. Let's move on to other stories. And in the 10th Assembly, I'm sure a lot of you have noticed that the Senate President is quite a controversial figure. Not all of his remaining 108 colleagues agree with him on certain issues, and this thing's bound to happen given the nature of debates and emotions that spill over and politicking. And yesterday this came to a head. Senator Osita and the Senate President had a bit of misunderstanding of Southeast projects now. Let's take a listen.
When will Southeast even have lion's share in any particular project? The Southeast cannot continually to be treated the way Nigeria is treating the Southeast. Ivo Dam was last funded about 12 years ago. And here, a zone is allocated 66 billion, and the entire Southeast at zero. What kind of omission is that? When will Southeast even have lion's share in any particular project? The Southeast cannot continually to be treated the way Nigeria is treating the Southeast. Ivo Dam was last funded about 12 years ago. And here, a zone is allocated 66 billion, and the entire Southeast at zero. What kind of omission is that?
Very sad situation. If what Senator Osita has said is in any way true, then I think it's high time that members of the Senate sit down and have a complete review. Because you cannot continue talking about the Senate and then the Southeast always has a case of marginalization. And that's exactly what he has highlighted again, that if projects are getting over 66 billion naira, you know, Bringa, sometimes when we hear these monies that are being, you know, bandied or mentioned on air, sometimes you try and see if these monies actually show in terms of what is being done at different states or different levels, at different wards, you name it.
The agitation for secession in the Southeast, you would expect the government to even be on an overdrive. I know they've created the Southeast Development Commission, but you need to, I mean, this sort of omission is just ridiculous. You need to carry everybody along. Every geographical corner of Nigeria needs to have a sense of belonging, that they are part of this federation and they're not an afterthought. Mr. President was in Anambra the other day to commission a few projects.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it goes beyond just photo ops and visits. You need to show the people that, look, you're part of the federation, and like what the senator mentioned, the distinguished senator in the Senate, Osita, mentioned, is quite sad. They need to look into it and do something. Let the development go round. Let every corner of the country feel a sense of belonging.
It's very sad, but like you said, if it's anything to go by in terms of it being fact, then we do understand that the Senate needs to actually look into it. I mean, we cannot keep every time we come on air, when we talk about, issues regarding the Senate, at some point you would hear that the Southeast is marginalized, the Southeast is not enjoying the dividends of this.
Federal projects
are
Southeast, like the rail,
exactly,
like the standard gauge rails, they've not been extended to the Southeast.
Exactly. So these are the conversations. But then again, we have many more to talk about today here on Breakfast Central. Let's also inform you that you can be part of the show on a Friday. The phone lines will be opened very early. Make sure you join in. Start calling as soon as you see the phone lines on your screen, and we will take your calls to hear your comments. It's been Monday through to Friday. Today happens to be the final day on Breakfast Central, especially for this week. But let's bring to you our top stories for today here on Breakfast Central. Today on Breakfast Central, our top stories. President Tinubu sent 1.48 trillion naira River State budget to National Assembly. Reactions have trailed that one. Federal government sues Senator Akpabio over alleged criminal defamation. We'll touch on this story as we progress. Labour Party factional chairman Callistus Okafor resigns. He says Obi cannot do it. Zero allocation to Southeast sparks dispute in Senate. We have that story as well. And don't forget, you can also call in to be part of Breakfast Central on the front pages of the newspapers. Stay with us.